All right. So,
Top left corner cut off facing
all
out.
right. Thanks, hon.
Not on your hump window, they have a cut.
No,
We
it
are
has
live
staples.
out here in front of Community Center for the
tape
Blind
side
and
says
Visually
off,
Impaired
and tape side
at
doesn't, and the staples are at the
2453
top.
Grand Canal Boulevard, Stockton, California. Have this streaming out to two YouTube channels, two Facebook pages, and personal Twitter account. So if you're out there watching from any of those places, thanks for coming in and showing some support. We're out here protesting a blind center that abuses and exploits the people it's supposed to serve. And we have varying group sizes out here, but we're going to keep protesting out here, regardless of the numbers, until something changes. So, welcome in, and thank you for the support out there. And hoping everybody is doing well. And we'll get started here after a while. I think we're waiting for some more people to come out.
Jennifer, you remember I mentioned I was talking to some people at my watering hole.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out,
We typically start at 9:30.
His philosophy in life is like pretend
but,
there's not a problem and maybe it'll go away.
Mm-hmm. I've heard people like that drive till the sound in your motor goes away. Yeah.
Let's hope the police don't get called this time.
Yeah, let's hope the police don't get called this time. But it shows the way that they operate, though. It shows the way that they operate because instead of talking about things civilly and trying to work things out, they call the police to try to silence the people who are, who tried to work with them privately, and so people come out.
Well, it's not like they have to go very far. You guys are right outside of their business.
Yeah,
all they're gonna do is open the door and go talk to you guys. It's easy.
Right.
We're not coming out
Right.
every time. Like,
hell, they could even open the door and invite you in.
They could, but they have the door locked with a Ring doorbell, so they can choose to let in whomever they want and deny whomever they want.
Do they really?
And yeah, it's locked electronically, and so you either have to have a key fob or be approved to come in.
The sidewalk
come down this way,
and the grounds aren't.
So like, I'll stay on this sidewalk, but these steps right up here go to the center, and there's a Ring doorbell right out there. So they can essentially, the executive director, Elsie, has some usable vision, and then the HR does as well. And basically, they use the Ring cam to determine who's out there, and that door is locked the whole time.
So
this place is
people just can't come in.
Nope.
But is it?
Nobody.
Is that a COVID thing? What is that?
They say it's a COVID thing, but they can't use that as an excuse anymore.
And
I was gonna say
they're trying to introduce something and say, but if you do come in, you have to wear masks and social distance. That's just an excuse not to have a number of people in the building.
Yeah,
because there's not restrictions that anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly, and
they don't want to be outnumbered.
The interesting thing is while I was working there, we were told that we didn't have to wear masks, but if a client came in and was more comfortable with masks, then we would then have to put masks on for the sake of the clients. Otherwise, they wouldn't require masks.
Interesting.
That's from somebody who used to be on the inside of the slaughterhouse.
But everything is subject to change according to who the audience is.
Yeah, like how if the questioner is ABC 10, we don't want to talk, we don't want to be on camera, we'll just give you a written statement.
Right.
And we won't discuss personnel issues. And that's the thing. You can't resolve issues if you don't discuss them.
Right.
And instead of trying to resolve issues, a Center for the Blind calls the police on blind protesters, and that says a lot. I mean, it proves right there one of the points that we are out here trying to bring it out to light is that this place does not want any criticism.
They want to intimidate us and shut us down, and that was the act of calling the police. They have not reached all time.
Crying out loud.
Yeah. All of our sites are public. YouTube,
Yep,
Twitter,
YouTube,
Facebook.
Twitter, Facebook. I mean,
Our personal page.
that says a lot. If there's anybody out there on Twitter from the news stations that were tagged watching this, I mean, what are your thoughts on, the thought of a Center for the Blind, the police on blind protesters when, we're supposed to advocate for ourselves. And when there was an attempt by Stockton Blind Alliance to advocate privately, and everything was, disregarded, and then you go public, we're not out here making threats. We're not out here, throwing out expletives and things like that. We're out
trying
here
to be heard.
exercising our First Amendment right, and not just for ourselves, but for the blind community as a whole in the San Joaquin Valley and surrounding areas. But we get the police called on us.
Yes.
We get the police called on us.
How many weeks have you guys done this now?
Opportunity and security.
I think this is week 50. Yep.
Started May 17th. Not a peep. Just telling the
Nope.
newspaper we're out here saying nasty things, telling the Department of Aging that they hadn't heard anything about being a
Even though they
toxic
followed the
environment.
Facebook page when it was open.
Right, and they've been in meetings with. This was said
Right.
since 2018.
And now saying that she's not the issue with the previous director. I don't know if you guys remember that. She stated.
Not a peep. They expect the community to follow like sheep.
That's right. So we tried to get them to have open annual meetings so that the public could be part of this, but they don't send that invitation out to anyone except the client calendar buried on an internal page of their website. We've never seen anybody from the community there. That's why we finally had to come out here and on social media to be heard, because they're ignoring us. They're trying to intimidate us, shut us down, wait us out, make us go away like they always do.
Not anymore.
No, the blind need to be a part of Community Center for the Blind
Right.
and Visually Impaired.
If it's for the blind, then it should be for the blind.
Make sure we're not blocking the sign.
Oh, yep. I think we actually have another. Good morning.
All right.
Hey,
Good morning.
good morning, number 37.
Woohoo.
Did you say number 37?
Yeah.
I
Hey.
almost wore the bomber's hat today.
I'm gonna give you a hug before we start chanting.
Oh,
if I can.
sure.
Oh, I had a bomber's hat from 2003
Aw,
or 4.
I
Whatever
wonder
you're
if they
at, 4.
still look the same.
I don't know. It was blue with the little bombers.
You said bombers in the front?
Good morning. How
Hey, like a
pretty
little
good. How about you,
brown
Yeah.
logo patch
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Hey, maybe it's the same.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're not talking about being bombers. It is the Long Island Bombers. They beat baseball team for the blind out of Long Island, New York. Just in case
Nice.
we get misquoted.
Somebody brought
Yeah,
that
Cliff
up
was
at the
just
World
asking
Series.
about that right
It was
now,
like
too.
the irony of
Hey,
the name of
They
your
used to have
team.
the
I was
Oklahoma
like,
City Bombers. That was weird.
Now, wouldn't it be funny if the police started showing up right now and we don't even have the megaphones on?
Oh, I know.
I can totally see it.
No. No, it's just for Ann to hear from our membership.
Oh.
So should we wake them up with the chant? Wake
I
ourselves up.
think it's time to.
All right.
I think it's time to wake some people up.
So, good morning. We're Stockton Blind Alliance. We are out here for the 16th time in front of Community Center for the Blind, waiting to be heard, waiting for appropriate responsiveness, transparency, accountability. Still waiting. Still waiting. Our phone number is 209-200-8589. If you have concerns to share with us, if you'd like to share in our advocacy, we will support you. Please support us. Please help the blind be heard, and let the Community Center for the Blind know that the blind should be an integral part of this organization. We should be represented on the board of directors.
That's right.
We should be on all levels of the station and doesn't mean they are overqualified. We won't say they're underqualified as long as they have a heart for the blind and they will listen to those of us that actually have the lived experience of being blind.
That's the biggest qualification right there.
Have a heart. Be open.
Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better.
Your taxes,
Donations support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations support blind degradation. Your taxes, donations support blind degradation.
We want an audit.
Where did the money go? We want an audit. Where did the money go? We want an audit. Where did the money go? We want an audit. Where did the money go?
Tell us where the money went. We want a
New board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Hey, Jen.
Yes.
On that particular chant, for those that are watching that might be new to the protest, can you give a bit of an explanation as far as the meaning behind that chant, as far as tell us where the money went?
Yes. I mean, aside from the accusations of financial misappropriation from an operations manager before that were never dealt with, one of our main concerns is how a building formerly on 130 West Flora Street that was donated for the purpose of being a center for the blind was somehow secretly sold by this organization. And it was not disclosed until a year and a half later, June 8th of 2021, when we were moved here in 2016. Well, this place was rented for thousands of dollars a month. That one sat abandoned, paid off, getting broken into by the homeless, twice the size, perfectly equipped for the blind, totally going to waste because someone wanted a nice North Stockton office, a cold office that did not have room for activities or fundraisers. They sold it secretly after they said we could return. We were only renting up here until downtown improved a little. We asked even when it was sold, and they would not tell us. Finally, like I said, June 8th, 2021, they said, it was sold in January of 2020, as anyone who looks online can tell. That is not transparency.
No.
And it is even, the building is a huge loss. It was a great place for the blind. It has so many memories. This is no comparison here. But the waste of money, the financial waste, the waste of our time, and mostly the example why there is no trust here, because there's no transparency, there's no accountability, no regard for the input of the blind. We had a few peaceful blind protesters back then standing silently with signs on the sidewalk. That director, Michelle Galvin, called the police on them.
Yep.
She didn't want the public to see there was a problem, but they won't listen. They always try to shut us down. They are not shutting us down this time. We are not going away. And that board president, Judy Howell, has been president for over a dozen years over that operations manager that tormented us, over Michelle Galvin, who finally quit for whatever reason in October of last year, and now over Elsie Harada, who we objected strongly to, brought many complaints against. She was continually promoted instead of disciplined, fired, or made to apologize and change her behavior. Now they put her as the permanent director, as you saw in our letter to the editor in Sunday that we sent in April, but thank God it was run now. We appreciate the record for continuing to share our stories. Yeah. We asked to be part of the process of vetting and finding a qualified executive director that cares about the blind.
That's right.
We have been ignored on that front too. We need your help.
Yes.
We want a new board president. We want new blood on the board of directors.
Yes.
And we want members of Stockton Blind Alliance represented on that board of directors.
Yes.
Because without that vital input, they cannot be truly representing the blind of San Joaquin County and beyond.
That's right.
That's right.
Yep. How did,
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was going to chant again, but go ahead.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
how about on the subject of activities for the blind? Tell us a bit about what happened to the beep ball team
yeah.
and the way that they dealt with that.
I mean, the operations manager, Bonnie Hammond, in 2011, did not like how popular the beep baseball program was getting. And she decided to, as they always do, threaten with loss of services and penalize us to try to kill that program. We were happily under their nonprofit status. We were doing all the fundraising, but, you know, they were, quote, our sponsors. It was a mutual relationship. They could have said this isn't working anymore, but that wasn't the point. The point was to penalize and punish us and torment us by killing this team. They rocked our world in a minute by saying we're locking up all that moldering 8-year-old equipment in a shed. You can't use it anymore. You can't use the team name anymore. You know, since 2003, you've been playing. You have the World Series here in Stockton. Teams from all over the U.S. and Taiwan glorifying the Blind Center. But no, now it's dead. You can't use the name. You can't use the equipment. And then strong people like David here, you know, members have kept it going. I mean, now it's been 20 years. We're going on our 21st year as a team here in Stockton. But that is without any support from the Blind Center. And like I said, all you have to say is, we're not going to do this. But you don't try to kill it. You don't say, oh, when we move, you'll still be able to fire your ceramics at Delta College and sell all the kilns in the old building. And then do nothing here. You don't tell people on the same day you have a transportation meeting, people from throughout the county that need to learn how to ride county public transportation. Services are ending with our van program. And when is that happening? Today. So, not to mention someone from Tracy, with the only option being Van Gogh, would cost $35 to $40 round trip on a fixed blind income.
I know how that goes.
To come in, try to come in one day a week for one service, and then there aren't even services or classes to come to, and that was prior to the pandemic. Now they're trying to put the support group, which we know is not very supportive nor confidential, as a hybrid to make their calendar look like they have something going on. We know they just added the Matter of Balance class, which is a good class. I did take that before, but I know the center gets paid big bucks to put it on, which is the primary motivation. So sadly, yes, they are not offering. I mean, we had an activities director, Janet, that had a huge heart for the blind. They let her go the instant the pandemic hit. You know, she could have been doing games or book groups or anything with clients online with someone they know cares to connect us throughout this pandemic. No, they wanted to get rid of social and recreational programs. They kept trying to figure out how to do it. And as always, the pandemic was an excuse. And they are using that as an excuse to block us out, to give excuses for why there aren't, why staff have left, why clients have left. We know it's a toxic environment.
That's right.
We know, and we want to share the truth because they won't. Yeah, I did marketing and outreach here until 2017. I was disgusted representing this place because I knew what was going on inside, and I knew I could help better from the outside, but I couldn't afford to leave. Thankfully, my husband helped me to leave so that I could recover and get better from the outside, because this is a toxic environment. It impacts your health. It is called workplace bullying. It is called toxic environment. It's called toxic workplace. It affects all the way down. The clients feel it. The coworkers feel it, whether they're targeted or not. It needs to stop.
Yes, it does.
Blind respect you never show. Tell her what I hit the road.
Blind respect you never show. Tell her what I hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell her what I hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell her what I hit the road.
Let the veil drop.
The exploitation has to stop. Let the veil drop. The exploitation has to stop. Let the veil drop. The exploitation has to stop. Let the veil drop. The exploitation has to stop.
Let the clients grow. Administration
has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go.
We're Stockton Blind Alliance. We're
Standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients.
And just to reinforce the point, COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse.
COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse. COVID's no excuse. You need to stop the blind abuse.
The blind want more.
Hurry up, unlock the door. The blind want more. Hurry up, unlock the door. The blind want more. Hurry up, unlock the door. The blind want more. Hurry up, unlock the door.
You say if people come to that matter of balance class, they have to wear masks and practice physical distancing, social distancing. That's just an excuse to not have a number of people in the building.
Right.
Because those regulations are not in place anywhere else. And I know that you want 12 people to get fully paid for running that class, plus an instructor and assistant. We're familiar with the size of that conference room. I doubt those people are 6 feet apart.
That's right.
If you get a full class. So, watch your message, watch your hypocrisy, watch what you say. We are watching you. We want everyone to reach out to this board of directors at board@communitycenterfortheblind.org. Tell them they need to listen to the blind. Tell them just because they're an independent private nonprofit doesn't mean they don't have to answer to anyone.
That's right.
Especially the population they purport to serve.
That's right.
We know the Department of Rehabilitation gives them 2/3 at least of their funding. They don't care about funding anything else that's a benefit to the blind unless they're getting paid at this point. We know that there's private donations. We know United Way. We know service groups in the community put money here, and we appreciate that. We don't want the center to go away. We just want to fix the problems here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because no one should be placed into it the way it is now.
No.
It's a toxic environment. It is not beneficial to the blind. You need real blind mentors in there again.
Yeah.
You need people side by side supporting each other, not being treated as a cash cow business.
Yeah.
That's right.
This president with 12 years, if you guys ever, some of the term limits, that's got to raise some eyebrows.
Right?
Yes, term limits. Yeah, you shouldn't have to put them in place, but some people aren't smart enough to vote them out.
Right.
12 years, retired in place. What's going on there?
Right.
It's very
Because,
interesting.
I mean, we all remember Bonnie Hammer, the original operations manager,
Yeah.
that this board, was tasked finally because we had had enough of the abuse,
Yeah.
of all the allegations of misappropriations, everything going on there. They didn't want it publicized. They didn't want to investigate it. They wanted to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
So we wrote up EEOC complaints eventually about how we were being harassed in the workplace, bullied in the workplace. But you guys pride yourself on being so independent. Why you can't operate this time clock? When she bought one with multi-layer systems that we cannot bump on use, no consideration was put into the purchase of that equipment. And then we were humiliated in front of the other staff because we had to ask for help to operate it. They were so happy that they thought they weren't subject to the ADA here forever, because they had fewer than 15 employees. Then they learned finally, Michelle learned in California, is 5 or fewer. Then she finally created an accommodations request form. Not that they acted appropriately, but why should a Center for Disabled People be delighted to think that they are not supposed to make accommodations legally if they can't? Why wouldn't you work with your employees? Why wouldn't you help them so that they look like competent role models to the clients that are coming in to be served? Why would you bring people to the point of tears to ask for help that should be apparent is needed because your thought process has not made it a welcoming place to the blind?
Yeah.
There are so many facets to this. No, Bonnie was gone. We made that board get rid of her finally against their will. We had to twist their arm. Yeah. And they resent us for that. Yeah. Instead of firing her, arresting her, investigating her, whatever would have applied, they gave her a nice retirement package, left her in place over us for months and months while they looked for a new director. And after she knew everything that we had said about her, we were targeted by her more. She was a little more wary because she knew we had shared things with the board, but we were continually in that environment until, and she got to stay there after work, shredding documents to her heart's content. There were no safeguards put in place for the center, its finances, or its records. Finally, they did find a new director, Michelle Galvin, who we tried to give a chance. We tried to give her a chance, but it didn't work out. She turned out to be, a control freak too. She turned out to be the next worst thing, except for what she brought up under her as her henchwoman, who is now the new director. This board president has heard our tears, our complaints, our concerns about all three of these individuals and done nothing.
Nothing. Right.
Judy Howell needs to go. We need a new board president.
That's right.
Tell us where that money went.
Yes.
We need someone with a heart.
That's right.
Need actual live blind experience as part of that board of directors.
That's it.
Yes. As far as we know, they don't have any blind members because they say they can't tell us the characteristics of the new people they brought on the board. We believe one of them might be visually impaired because he's been a client profile on their website for several years now. Services, but we've never been told that there's blind representation, and they never looked for any until our membership wanted to be represented. Then they made up a cap of, we have 3 spots, and medically, your 4th candidate, the one you are proposing, has no place on this board of directors. It's all a sham. It's not for the blind. It needs to be of the blind. Nothing about us without us.
Nothing about us without us. Nothing about us without us. Nothing about us without us. Nothing about us without us.
Amen.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
We're standing up for Bob.
They made me quit my job.
And they made me quit my job. They got rid of Janet. They tried to get Miguel Venegas fired from his job.
Right.
That's how they play. You're not allowed to share opinions or any kind of constructive or tell them how clients feel about something. There's the door. You get constantly reminded, which is part of bullying, harassing workplace, that this is an at-will establishment. You can be fired at any time for any reason.
Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, we've gone before with that operations manager, Bonnie Hama.
Yes.
I heard when I first started around 2000 that people in the public and the staff, clients, were actually allowed at the board meetings at least once a year for that annual meeting where they gave a report, where they could take feedback from the public, and it was really hard to believe. I said, when is the annual meeting? And of course it was June when Elena asked her. So she said, oh, it's in May of every year, because that was a year away. No. But so then there was no reminder, no notice of that meeting. But a few of us, like David and I, some professionals who had come to learn about the toxic environment and the problems there, the job mediator they got rid of when she wouldn't just rat out staff instead of trying to help, the psychologists, psychiatrists that had come in to do a volunteer support group who knew the mental health of everyone was being impacted there.
Yeah.
We had a range of people from the community supporting us. We just walked into that meeting, although the operations manager told me the board did not want to hear from the public, the community. They offered services and people could take them or leave them.
Yes.
So we went in and made them take our letters. There's always the board president who has this email account that finally got created, but we have no confidence it goes to anyone but her and maybe the executive director. They passed a bylaw last year that anything said there that she deems bullying or harassing can be discarded without sharing it with the rest of the board. Well, that's been her policy all along, in our opinion. We've managed to get in front of a few of those other board members, so they are not without culpability here, because we know they know there are problems. They might not know everything that we have ever said or sent, But if they have a conscience and a soul, they need to speak up and help make this change. Or they need to go with the president.
Yes.
Right.
We hope that someone from that board will have a conscience, speak up, stand up, and help make this change.
Yes.
Be open.
Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind.
Another part of this bullying and harassing workplace is, as an employee, if I or someone else that come up to management, a supervisor, to say how I've been sexually harassed by a fellow employee, by a volunteer, anyone, you usually get laughed at. I've had that experience. I got groped by a volunteer. I went and told that operations manager, Bonnie Hama, and she sent him home for a few weeks. Said, "Oh, don't come around here." But he was right back because obviously he was more valuable than me. That is not appropriate.
No.
And I know it's happened to other people too. Hopefully they can share their stories. But to have someone laugh at you or act like and it's been laughed off or dismissed or blamed on the person. But
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. And one of the sad things about this is that this isn't an isolated incident. The sad thing is that many in the blind community are put into this mindset that they need to be grateful for what they've got. If they're mistreated, they just accept it and move on because they're getting something. We're not entitled, folks. We don't have a sense of entitlement here.
No.
What it is that we are people just as well.
that's right.
We bleed red.
Yeah.
Just a trigger warning for those who are watching the stream out there. Recently, in the past year, I believe it was, and Jen, you may know about this. Others of you might. Some of the schools for the blind, there have been SA situations where some of the students in these schools who are blind have been sexually mistreated. There's
Yes.
sexual misconduct.
And there's always cover-up.
There are cover-ups, and the thing is that many places do not teach people who are blind or otherwise disabled to advocate for themselves because, unfortunately, it's this unspoken rule in society that we just need to be happy with what we get. There's so much stuff. I won't get into all the details, but SSI, for instance, grateful for it. But how many people would be happy living off of $6.25 an hour full-time job?
Right.
The thing is, a center for the blind, mind you, has the word community in the name, but does not practice that word.
No.
Community is a combination of people from all walks of life.
That's right.
They are not assimilating into one. They are individuals with individual opinions, individual perspectives, individual goals.
Yes.
And a community takes all of those puzzle pieces and it's supposed to make something beautiful.
That's right.
But what this place is, it's like a game that my grandpa used to play with me called 52 card pickup.
Mm-hmm.
You take that deck of cards and you throw it up in the air and it goes everywhere. And sometimes some of those cards don't get found. That, folks, that is not convergence coming together for the better good of everybody involved. That is divergence. It's a breaking apart. A community is supposed to be a group of individuals who, though they have different experiences, different goals, different walks of life, they come together for the better good. A support group should be a place about edification and confidence, not a place where if somebody speaks badly about the center, sorry, we don't worship the center.
That's right.
We do not worship the center. The center is a vehicle.
Yeah.
A vehicle by which those who participate and those who can go through and receive training can walk out feeling stronger, feeling more independent, more capable, not walk out feeling like they've been bashed and their self-esteem has been torn down and feeling hopeless and discouraged and helpless and alone because you can't even trust to talk to your coworkers.
Right.
Now, I had a coworker here, a real good guy. And I was afraid to ask him if I could ride to work with him because I was afraid that that might go against what the executive director, Elsie Hirata, wanted. So instead, I just continued paying the lift fees to come back and forth because I was told you can't really trust talking to your coworkers very much, but if you have anything you need to talk about, you can come to me. No. See,
Micromanaging and
control, because the more that they know about you, the more they can manipulate. I was feeling pressured to move up here until I saw how this place was. A place that would probably throw you out like the trash if you didn't always say yes. I'm more than trash. I am not trash.
That's right.
I am an individual with hopes and dreams. And I am a father and a brother and a son and a community member and a friend to people.
Amen.
Various places. I have a desire to help people, but I can't help people if I'm constantly being broken, and I wouldn't allow this place to break me down.
That's right.
One hospital visit, and then it took some time to think as to whether or not I wanted to go back to that hospital again.
We're here for you, Bob.
And I'm here for you all as well.
Thank you.
And that's why we're out here, folks. We're not out here under the label that they put on us as troublemakers. No, the troublemakers are in those executive offices back there, not caring about the clients, looking at the clients as high maintenance, driven clients who speak up for themselves, clients who know what they want and who know where they're going. They are not high maintenance. They are driven. Get the vocabulary right. If you got a master's degree, you ought to know better than that, for crying out loud.
And to speak down like they're all simple, like we're not capable of understanding. If you set the bar high, people can reach for that bar, but you just want to throw out the basic services that you get money for. You don't care about the whole picture, the blind of all ages, how we contribute to each other at this place.
That's right.
There is no sense of community here. You don't let us around blind youth because we might infect them with our positive philosophy of blindness. They might actually have expectations of where they're going with their life, not just checking off your boxes to get your paycheck from Department of Rehabilitation.
That's right.
We know that you have overridden educated assessments from teachers of the visually impaired or your own AAT adaptive technology staff.
I've seen it.
To save Department of Rehab money to send a blind high school senior to college with a PC to drag around instead of a laptop.
That's right. They need a portable
and
device.
Other examples. This is what Director Elsie Hirata did to save money for Department of Rehabilitation. That is not your call. That is not your area of expertise. You need to let the people that know what they are doing recommend what's best for these people. And if Department of Rehabilitation does not meet those expectations, the clients can take it up with them. But you do not need to interfere. You have no right to do this.
No.
We need quality, qualified staff at all levels in this organization. A new executive director that is found with blind input, and that board president has to go at a minimum. We will start fixing and being part of this process. Like we said, we're not trying to tear it down. We're trying to build it back up.
Yes.
We are blocked from doing that. If it runs into the ground, it's their fault with their arrogance, their conceit, and their lack of consideration for the blind.
Yes.
That's right. I can attest when it comes to the AT because I was an AT instructor here and I loved the work. I hated the environment. Even though I was working virtually most of the time, I dreaded when there was a call from Elsie because I wasn't sure if I was going to get chewed out for something or get commended. And that's the way that an abusive environment works. They stretch and release until they break you to the point of being pliable to their whim.
That's right.
But I was in a place where there was a client who wanted to go to work, and I was told that I need to recommend a desktop. Hey, I'm the instructor here.
Yeah.
I'm the one with the technological experience. Why'd you hire me if you were going to tell me something else when you don't have that experience?
That's right.
No, you don't micromanage. You let people do their jobs, but that requires trust, and trust requires relinquishment of total control.
Yeah.
But I was told to recommend a desktop when a laptop would have been a better fit. And not just that, but recommendations for more accessible mobile equipment. See, the thing is, I used to be a solid Android user. The executive director is mostly an Android user, has better vision than me. And I was recommending the iPhone products for individuals with disabilities because from my findings since using an iPhone from 2019 on, yes, the bar for accessibility is a lot higher.
That's right.
But I was told I needed to pick one or the other. And that's the thing. If I was hired as an assistive technology instructor, who's one of my responsibilities is that of writing assessments, why in the world are you telling me how to write my assessments when I have a degree in computer information systems? Now, I may not have a master's degree,
Right.
but that doesn't mean I've not been independently studying my butt off. And it doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're an active user of the products as well.
That's correct. And this is the thing here with this. There's more community in this group out here who has been kicked to the curb than there is within those walls. Within those walls is a cult. And some people are victims to that cult. Others are the leaders. While the community is out here trying to provoke change, positive change, not destructive change, but positive change to build something better and brighter.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen unless there is change from within.
Yeah.
It's like I'd said one time before, it may look pretty on the outside, but on the inside, it's full of dead men's bones.
That's right.
People who have been abused, insulted, put down, rejected, and broken to the point where self-worth is clear out the window.
You can't polish a turd.
No, you can't.
Good. You polish a turd, still a turd.
But as Bob was saying, it is like a cult. You get thrown under the bus. People are told to tell on each other like children. You know, you get points, but you hope you're not the next one getting thrown under that bus.
That's right.
If you're not a yes man, there's no place for you here. You get all the work dumped on you. You're constantly criticized, micromanaged, and abused.
Yes.
That is not a productive workplace. It's not a healthy workplace.
Yes.
And the Department of Rehabilitation should not be placing people here to work nor to learn until this is rectified.
Yes.
That's
We have
right.
been meeting with them on this. They say they can't do much about the inner workings of an agency, but we are explaining how that all bleeds over and how that needs to change.
Yes.
That's right. If you're watching this online right now and you're in this area and you are being referred to this place by Department of Rehabilitation and you have observed the situation here, you do not have to come here. You can request to be sent to a different center for training. You have that right. You have that right, and you can exercise it.
That's right.
They may make you feel uncomfortable for advocating for yourself. This place will make you feel uncomfortable for advocating for yourself because you should be happy with the crumbs. It's okay to pay roughly $100 for a round trip to work when you make about $120 gross a day.
Right.
Just to come to work, guys.
And if they do make you feel intimidated, because they're good at that,
Oh, yeah.
reach out to us. We will attend that phone or in-person meeting with you as an advocate. One of our members at least can be there.
That's right.
Because we don't want you to have to make decisions out of fear, out of pressure, out of not knowing what your options are. And that's what they rely on,
Yes.
both here and at the Department of Rehabilitation. Until that changes,
Yeah.
we need staff in the Stockton, San Joaquin County area that have the interest of the blind first, that have transparency, accountability, and appropriate responsiveness to the blind.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. Now, I've seen from former clients the intimidation tactics. One such client spoke up and was told, if you continue to behave like this, we're going to have to reevaluate your case. You don't rule us.
No.
Right.
You're supposed to be here for us. Live by your mission.
Right.
Live by your mission.
They
If
took
you're-
down the vision statement. I wonder why, because it was too open to offering more than the bare minimum.
Right? Right.
That should be a chant. Live by your mission.
Live by your mission. We're not going to take what you've been dishing. Yeah, that's a bit of a tongue twister, but that's the thing. Number one, if you're not going to be a community, take the word off your sign.
That's right.
Because like I said, there's more community out here on this sidewalk
Yes.
than there is in there. Now, there are some good staff members in there,
Yes.
Right.
and they're working their jobs because, well, we all out here know
Yeah.
what it's like to find a job
Yeah.
when you're
Right.
visually impaired. It's quite a task,
It's another
guys.
thing to hold over your head, that fear of loss of employment or services. You'll take whatever they dish out because they don't think you have an alternative.
That's right. I've seen that when I was here too.
Yes.
I felt the pressure, and then when I interestingly, when I talked to my Department of Rehabilitation counselor about feeling the pressure, then Elsie said, "You don't feel like you're under any pressure, do you?" And I more and more I've been seeing that counselor who was transferred to Sacramento
went right to her with every word from your mouth. Right?
That's it. That's it.
Not to work it out on your behalf, obviously, because that wasn't the outcome. That's what I've heard and experienced around here too. You can't trust them. People say, "Oh, why don't you tell the rehabilitation counselor what happened? Why? So he can go tell on that person and get them in trouble or get their case reevaluated." It's not like they will deal with things appropriate here, and that's one of our big concerns.
That's
complaints.
right. Yes. There needs to be change, not a breakdown, because this place has so much potential, but it needs people leading it who have a heart for the community, a heart that's not going to throw people out to the sidewalk where people who are blind or who support the blind have to protest out of a center who is supposed to be for the blind.
That's right.
Those doors should be open, and people who are blind should be able to come in regardless of their affiliations, organizational affiliations.
Yeah.
If you're part of the NFB, shouldn't be looked at as a troublemaker. What's that?
Tell us about the NFB.
I will, and then I'll clip it out. I'll clip it out and I'll get that.
Thank you.
So, I had a talk with the director, Elsie Harada by name, so there's no confusion. And that one day there were some phrases that were stated that I won't repeat here because of expletives.
Oh.
Let's just say it rhymes with it rhymes with witch. It's like Jim Ross on WWF back in the day said, it rhymes with witch and starts with a B. And that executive director told me that I'm a witch and I've always been a witch. Now, like I said, you replace that word with the rhyming counterpart. All right? Now, intimidation. Now, I used to be a board member with my local chapter of National Federation of the Blind in the Central Valley. And I had to walk away, not because of that local branch, just because there was too much going on in life. Yeah. And I did put that information on my resume, and I was told that they were considering not hiring me because of my affiliation with National Federation of the Blind. I was told that one of the reasons that they don't really want to have people come in is because sometimes NFB members would come in and they're troublemakers. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this center pays for Executive Director Elsie Harada to be a member of National Federation of the Blind. And
he tried to join as an agency until they found out you could only do it as an individual, and then the past director, Michelle, placed her in there as, what did you call it, a troll?
I think troll would be the word. Yeah.
I know on YouTube you said someone that just jumps into your chat to see what's going on and get covered.
Exactly.
Is a troll.
They are trolls. They will jump into the chat. Lori and I have a lot of experience with that. They'll jump into the chat.
We're not saying she looks like a troll. We're using an analogy.
Yes,
that's beside the point.
This is an internet analogy. A troll is somebody who enters somewhere where they don't really want to be, but they go there to stir crap up.
That's right.
And this is exactly what's going on here. Yeah. And see, to turn someone away because of their affiliations, folks.
Right.
That's there's a big D word associated with that called discrimination.
They did that to our board candidate because they knew she was affiliated with the NFB. Wow. They've done that to several of us that were trying to be board candidates.
Now, doesn't that go against the ADA right there?
I don't think that your political or group affiliation should impact your hiring.
It does go against the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, though.
Right.
Yep, and that's the thing. They considered
that. They said it was a conflict of interest to a lot of us.
Right. When I mentioned, because they acted like nobody had ever tried to be on the board before, and like blind representation was a foreign concept to them. That, when the NFB chapter locally was meeting with a few of the board representatives and Michelle and Elsie in February of 2021, we said, is there a problem with NFB members, applying to be on the board?
Yep,
The board president turned around and said, we have concerns about confidentiality. I instantly said, are you saying that blind people can't maintain confidentiality? And she said that wasn't what she was saying. I don't know what it had to do with blindness or the NFB. It sounds like Bonnie Hamma saying, tell a phone, tell a friend, tell a blind person, and it's all over town.
Sighted people do the same thing.
To me.
Yep. Now, you want to know what else is a conflict of interest, folks? A group of individuals who are blind and their supporters standing on a sidewalk in front of a center who's supposed to serve the blind community. The word community is on a sign, but it is not being practiced. That's a conflict of interest right there.
Yeah, it is.
We're out here protesting against a place that should be doing what it's supposed to do anyways, but they don't.
This is the only venue we have because they will not listen unless you help us make them listen.
Yes.
They knew they could just turn off Zoom where we couldn't raise our hand or comment in their little fake meetings. They know they don't have to respond to our emails or phone calls because the board president can discard whatever she wants. This is why we had to go public last August 2021 with a letter to the editor and continuing since then in our efforts because we're tired of not being heard.
Yeah.
The blind need to be part of the community center for the blind.
Yes, they do.
What we want and what we desire for this place to become is important, and they need to treat it as such.
Yeah.
That's right.
We are the blind with the lived experience of being blind.
Yeah.
We know how to help each other.
Yeah.
We've done that more than this place has definitely throughout this pandemic. Our organizations have risen up in the community.
Yeah.
We're not getting paid.
No.
We care. We reach out. We help.
Yeah.
We've gotten supplies for students. We've, provided transportation to people. We will go to an IEP meeting with a student if they need that advocacy. There is no advocacy here. There is not a lot of help here, and there are hardly any virtual services unless they know they can get top dollar from the Department of Rehabilitation.
Yeah.
So we need to expand on that and make it an inclusive, robust place again, serving the blind.
Yeah.
That's right. What I find of interest to me personally is that when I came up here to mostly work virtually once a week, I had to take one day's paycheck roughly to do that. I've been up here in Stockton more for these protests than I was when I was working here, and that's because there's a community who knows the struggles, and they helped me to come up here.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that you know, even if you have little to no self-worth, you know who you're worth something to and who you're not.
Yes.
And I'm thankful to be up here with this group, and I'm thankful that they sacrifice in and of themselves so that I can come up here with them and help to speak out. Whereas I had to pay out of my own pocket to come up here via Lyft, to come up for a staff meeting and then do virtual work. And if I had to stay home because my son was sick and I gave advance notice, I got chewed out for that. Sorry, my family comes first. My family comes first. Y'all call this place a family on the inside. No, it's more like The Godfather.
I don't want to be in that family.
You do what you're told, or you're gone.
That's right.
Well, I'm gone. I'm gone because I am worth more than that. The staff in there is worth more than that, and I can guarantee you, they're not getting paid what they're worth.
That's right.
Well, there's an executive director getting paid roughly $75,000 a year, while everybody else is carrying the workload on their shoulders.
I know I did marketing outreach and activities for $10.25 an hour. And the only reason Janet ever got a raise was when the minimum wage went up and they were forced to increase her wage. And she's been here over 13 years.
She's here too right now.
All right.
Oh,
We
welcome,
love
Janet.
But, you show people what they're worth. In a good workplace, you're rewarded for what you do right. You're encouraged. You're just trained if something is wrong. You're not shredded and thrown under the bus for a mistake that probably was made from higher up, but you're the likeliest target. And we've seen that over and over
Been
and
there.
over here. Yeah. It's humiliating to have a director brag that the highlight of the accomplishments here is they taught people how to brush their teeth or pick up a glass of water.
It's ridiculous.
She's underqualified for her job.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Coming from being a volunteer manager and a hairdresser with no HR experience, that might be a little explanatory in, you know, the lack of vetting that candidate. But there are people like that would have done a much better job, because we don't characterize people by your education. We characterize you by your willingness to listen, learn, and reach out to see what the blind experience is and how you can be a part of making it better.
Yeah.
That's right. That is right.
That's why we're out here.
That's right.
And we'll continue to be
That's
out
right.
here until change happens. We're not going to stop. It's funny because we are categorized out here as bullying and harassing.
Right.
But yet, as many of you saw, and I have a YouTube video that's out there that's unlisted. I've got to make sure that it's all right to put out there public. But if anyone wants the link, it's out on my Twitter. It's out on my Facebook. Last week, we were out here peacefully protesting. We were not putting out threats. We were not doing anything wrong.
That's right.
And the Blind Center, the Center for the Blind, called the police on blind protesters.
Shameful.
Right.
Now, they say that they want to help the blind community, but they're calling the police on their own who tried to speak out privately. If you didn't want us out here, you should have listened in the first place.
Yeah.
Or
But-
even asked us if there was a different way to communicate with you that would actually work.
Yes.
Because we haven't found one yet.
That's right. But instead, the police are calling. But you know what? We're Americans here, folks.
Yeah.
We're allowed to use our voice. And we're not out here to threaten. We're not out here to destroy. We're out here to build up.
Yeah.
And if they choose to continue to walk that path of destruction instead of walking a path of building up and being a cohesive unit and a fully functioning community, then change needs to happen.
Yes.
It needs to happen.
Yeah.
We are here. The community's on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Right.
You won't let us in because you think you're better than us. We're on equal ground, but if you're going to act like you're better than us, you have chosen to be in a worse position. That's your choice. Our choice is to stand for our rights as American citizens.
Yeah.
Stand up for disability rights. Stand up for the futures
And
of
human rights.
and human
Basic
rights.
human
Exactly. Because no one of any disability, whether you are wheelchair bound, whether you're hearing impaired, no one deserves to be treated like this.
No one.
No.
We just happen to be a blind community out here outside of a center for the blind. We're standing up for the rights that we have as citizens of this country.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to do so. We'll continue to use our voices. And to the neighbors, we apologize for the disturbance here. If you have a problem with it, just talk to your neighbor in suite number 5.
Yeah.
They don't want to listen to us. Maybe they'll listen to you.
Yeah.
Right. 209-466-3836, Community Center for the Blind, or board at communitycenterfortheblind.org.
So when they came out last week, what did the cops say to you guys?
So,
Because some of us weren't here last week. So,
uh,
It's somewhat comical.
it was.
It was our right to be out here.
so what did they say, Bob?
So basically what happened is that the officer came up and asked some questions and asked what we were doing and what it was about. And then he proceeded to ask where the entrance was to CCBVI. And he came back out and he was asked by Raphael, I have a question for you. And the officer looked at him. I've got the video. Raphael sent it to us. And I accompanied that video with some music.
Yeah, somebody asked
We're
me about that.
protesting Community Center for the Blind for not letting the blind be a part of the process and abusing us.
And locking the doors. Their doors are locked. They haven't opened since COVID.
Right.
You know, and they're teaching their classes through Zoom.
Right. We want to change in the management and some of our membership to be allowed to be part of the board of directors to help a positive change. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for that.
God
Thank you.
bless you.
God bless you.
Stay safe.
She said she hears about public sensitive issue now because she knows what it is. That's nice.
Yes.
So,
The blind center called it.
yeah, exactly. So when that officer came out, we could do that chant after this.
Yes.
But it's the blind center called the cops. We don't care. We'll never stop.
Yeah.
So the officer came out and he looked at Raphael and he said they aren't doing anything wrong. They're protesting peacefully. That's their right.
Yeah.
I made a video. Well, I didn't make the video. Raphael did. But I accompanied it with music. The first half has bad boys, what you gonna do? And the officer comes out and after he says that's their right, I amplified that part And after that, it's, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. That's right. So ready, guys? Ready for that chant?
Yeah.
The blind center called the cops. We don't care, we'll never stop. The blind center called the cops. We don't care, we'll never stop. The blind center called the cops. We don't care, we'll never stop. The blind center called the cops. We don't care, we'll never stop.
Blind respect you never showed. Tell her
Rada, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell her Rada, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell her Rada, hit the road.
blind
Respect you never show. Tell her Rada, hit the road.
We want a new board president. Tell us where that
Money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went.
They fully
Hide and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide and lie. Defund CCBVI.
Fix the blind
Center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better. Fix the blind center. The blind deserve better.
Be open.
Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind. Be open. Be kind and listen to the blind.
Thank you. You can reach out to us at 209-200-8589, StocktonBlindAlliance@gmail.com. We have Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube channels, Stockton Blind Alliance. Please get connected. We can help you or see how you can help. Thank you.
That's right.
Anybody need water or want my megaphone for a little bit?
Or a granola bar. There you go.
Janet has granola bars and I have
And they're
water.
soft, chewy ones. And
She said they're soft cheese.
they're not crunchy hard.
There's a reason, folks, we're out here in this heat. There's a reason that we choose to come here from our different locations. I come up here when I come to these protests, and I'm here at about 7 a.m. And I wait until it's about time. There's a reason I'm here. I, just as well as many others who are standing out here and those who can't be with us, have been done wrong by this place. And it's not a situation where we're feeling entitled. But if you're going to use the word community, then you need to live by the words that you use. If you're not going to live by the words that you use, then the words need to be taken out of the sign.
I got
No, you're good.
Try not to get water on my side.
Oh, no, not at the moment, but thank you. But it's time for change. 16 weeks, folks. 16 weeks. That's about 4 months. 4 months. And we'll keep going.
No appropriate responsiveness. We have a community advocate reaching out to us to try to help us.
That's right.
Get them on a page with us, but there is no movement coming from them to acknowledge this or be any part of this change or inclusive of the blind.
Yeah.
They don't want to lose their paycheck.
That's right.
They don't want to talk.
4 months and
They don't
no
want to
change.
share.
Oh, that's a good one.
There you go.
It sounds a little too fishy to me.
Yep. Well, I can tell you a fishy story.
I thought of those last time we were out here, and I said I can't do those because I have a bull
I
horn.
like your.
The veil needs to drop.
Thank you for that one.
The exploitation
It has to stop.
The veil
It needs to drop. The exploitation has to stop. The veil needs to drop. The exploitation has to stop.
The
Veil needs to drop. The exploitation has to stop.
Let the clients
Grow.
grow.
Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. And I'll say something about that chant there, because some people would ask, well, what if the administration decides to change? From what I've seen here and from what I've heard reported, any change is temporary. It's face value. It's there for appearances, like the membership to the NFB. It's there for appearances. The change is not going to happen with the individuals. The individuals need to be changed out.
if the board of directors will turn itself around and actually work, that's fine. But the board president and the executive director, at a minimum, need to be resigned, gone immediately.
That's right.
We are willing to try to work with the rest. We are happy to ask one of their members that will step up with a conscience to be an, interim board president. And we would even be happy to have Joni Bauer, one of the staff here who has done it before, step in as acting director while we complete that search for a vetted quality candidate that is concerned for the blind. I know she wants to retire. God bless her for trying to keep this place going. She's about the only legitimate thing they have left. We would like her help. We asked, I know she deserves to retire. I know she wants to retire. If she could do that one more time while we turn things around, we would work with the rest of the ship. We put our blood, sweat, and equity into this place over and over, helping each other. We are willing to be part of that process. They are the ones who refuse to change and include us.
That's right. It's not about changing the ship. It's about changing the captain.
Amen.
The ship can be sailed in a better direction. It just needs to be cleaned up a bit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. This ship has the potential to sail. It's been sailing for a long time, since about 1949. There's not a problem with the ship. There's a problem with the captain.
Yeah.
And the captain needs to walk the plank. Because there are too many passengers who have been on board this ship who've been put down in the hole in cages and not allowed to grow.
They've been thrown overboard.
Yeah.
Some jumped. I'm one of those who jumped. I'd rather been out with the sharks.
It says a lot for a blind person to leave a job with no job to go to when it's so hard to find employment, to go back to the poverty line. But many of us have made that choice rather than make ourselves ill, staying here, knowing that we go home carrying that stress load through the night. Our families are feeling, everyone, that's why our families are out here. They know they've seen what it's done to us.
Yeah.
We appreciate every cent, every minute, every piece of love that they have shared to be out here, help us get here, support us, help make these signs, just share our posts, whatever they can do. A lot of our members, sighted or blind, are working or at school, can't be here, can't afford the transportation, can't get the transportation arrangements, but they're here with us in spirit. And we will come out, as many of us as can, each time until these changes happen.
That's right.
We're Stockton Blind Alliance. We're
Standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients.
And the staff and the volunteers.
That's it.
Anyone in the community that's tried to collaborate with this place and been crapped on.
That's right.
There is no sense of community here, as Bob said.
That's right.
It's what you can get, not what you can give.
Yeah.
And they burn bridges left and right. We need to restore that before there is no center for the blind.
That's it.
Or we need all hands on deck to create a better alternative if they refuse to change.
Yes.
I want to thank my fiance who lives 1,300 miles away, because when we're out here streaming, she's working behind the scenes to help to keep that going. With the platform that we use, and she's a part of this protest just as well, from 1,300 miles away. How does it feel knowing that there are people watching this in Australia and other places around the world, other places in the United States, and now it's out on Twitter, now it's out on Facebook, now it's out on 2 YouTube channels. It's going everywhere. This isn't something that's just going to be isolated to just these folks, this community out on the sidewalk. It's going everywhere. It's going to be heard everywhere, everywhere. And it's not going to stop until change happens, because we have had enough. We've been through enough. You know, $100,000 a year and below is considered low income in California. While I was working here, I was making about $20 an hour for my services. Crumbs. And the thing is I was paying out a day's wage to come here once a week.
You can't live off crumbs.
No, you can't live off of crumbs, especially when you're a single dad with 2 kids. And here's the thing about that. I chose to go back down to making less than half of that per month, because my health, my family was more important. My mental health was more important. I've never been on blood pressure medications. I've never been on antidepressants. I had to talk to my doctor in my last few weeks at this place because I felt like I was already on my way back to the hospital again. Do they care? No. No, they don't.
They send all their staff to the doctors for blood pressure medication.
CCBVitis.
CCBVitis. That's right. That's right.
Sometimes fatal.
That's right.
Don't let it get you to that point. Get out of here until they change.
There was an instructor here who worked here previously. We were here at a staff meeting. It was while masks were still required. And she took her mask down to take a drink of coffee. And she was degraded for that.
Wow.
She was degraded for that. And she talked to me privately and said, Bob, I don't think I'm going to be here much longer.
You can even do that on an airplane.
That's right. And she would drive in here from Waterford
Wow.
to come here to work. Really wonderful person.
She thought it would be fun, but it wasn't fun.
That's it. She thought it would be fun. She loved teaching what she taught. But she was made to feel minimized, and she was very well qualified for the job.
Micromanaged and second guessed at every turn.
That's right. That's right. And she told me privately, and I looked back to make sure I wasn't being spied on, because they spy on you here, folks, even in the support groups.
Right.
If you're attending a support group at Community Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, confidentiality is not guaranteed, folks. It's not guaranteed. And you aren't going to find the full support that you need.
Aren't the clients supposed to sign a confidentiality form when they start here?
You would think the
I think that they
employees
do
would.
have to.
They do.
We do.
They do.
We do. But I think the clients have to too.
Yeah, they do.
Not to tell their little secrets.
Well, but here's the question though: why is it that the clients actually uphold their end of the bargain as far as the confidentiality though?
Well,
Right.
I held mine till they laid me off.
She's like, now I got a whole lot
Now,
to
you
say.
know.
That's right.
Janet was the only person that gave you milk of human kindness here. You know, she helped us stay here at her own health expense. I'm sure. I know how many times we saw her belittled.
Pounded
They
because
always do that
they
too in
said
front
the
of
clients
everybody.
took up too much time and
Yep.
too much money.
Yeah, and
Every staff meeting, that's what I heard.
that's the thing. Too much time and too much money.
Too much money.
I'm still trying to figure out what money they're talking about. Maybe it was the cost of the toilet paper. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, but the thing
They
is,
charged them for
but they
everything.
I was about to say, they charged us for donation stuff that was donated for us.
The only money I know that was spent on the clients was $20 a month for healthy cooking class.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
They say the clients come first, and that lie is the biggest and worst.
I know Janet bought snacks out of her own pocket to bring when we had classes and stuff
The
because
Van Goghs,
she wants
they
to make
paid
it
for once a week for a while for the
Yeah.
bowling. So that was it.
But you couldn't be out too many hours because, you know, you're not supposed to be using your hours to help clients, right, Janet?
Right.
What happened to the vans? Because they had vans.
They
They're
sold
parked.
them. They're gone.
And they would come
They
and
probably
pick
sold
you up
them.
from your
No,
home
they're
and
parked
take
at
you to the
RTD.
They
barn.
said that was too expensive too, and
The
even
best-
though they had just
the best
gotten a
that they
grant
got,
for a brand new van finally with a lift for the first time ever,
No, that's
one of the employees drove it under the underpass at the old center parking lot and ruined it right away.
He was a good guy, though.
He was a good guy though,
So-
but
He
they
was
didn't care about
tired and
fixing it and getting it
overworked.
back up and running because their whole intent was to get rid of this transportation program.
But wait a second. So they can't afford that, but they can afford $75,000 a year for an executive director who doesn't care about the clients?
No experience and no heart.
And they can afford to pay the rent here for the lease. For the lease for
Our
the
last
They expanded on the space here since they've been here just prior to the pandemic, and they're still paying for 2 extra offices back there
Yeah.
behind.
Our last
And
two
what is
drivers
that
quit.
space being used for?
They quit because they weren't paid enough and they were overworked. They
Yep.
didn't work here a year.
And disrespected.
Yeah.
We've had 5 to 6 staff leave in the last year. That's why we say there's a mass exodus of clients and staff. They'll say there aren't clients here because of the pandemic.
It's a lie.
Many had not come before the pandemic, and they are still counting us in the 100 or whatever number they're reporting.
Probably.
We know personally we have not received any service for
100.
100 people.
They're not
here.
100.
I could count. I could probably count.
It's been over a year since many of us have had even one thing to do with this center.
Supposedly they care about us. They even stopped calling some of us.
Yeah.
They used to do a well checkup once a month.
Well, that was because it was Joni doing it, but then Joni went off on leave for a while, so there was no one that cared her to do it or to put money to that task of actually checking on the clients during the pandemic.
I got a little story for you. While I was up here, I was working at home, but while I was working here, I should say, I received a call from Executive Director Elsie Harada, encouraging me to take independent living skills training, even though I've been on my own with my kids for over 7 years. So they were trying to make money off of me as a client while I was paying out a day's wage to come up here to teach.
How kind of her.
How degrading.
Yeah.
How degrading. See, that's the way that they feel about the blind community. And this is disgraceful. It is a slap in the face.
That shows you how many clients are lining up for their classes.
That's right.
They
That's
have
right.
to look for
Here
it.
comes now on the bus.
But it's an absolute disgrace. People deserve better than that. There is no hope that's given in this place, especially when you're someone who is pushing to work and you're being called high maintenance.
Right.
You know, that's a degrading term.
It is.
Very degrading.
The clients would like to know how much money they were spending on a month that was
Yeah.
out of control.
It is the soft bigotry of low expectations.
Correct.
Especially if we're so high maintenance, exactly how much are they spending on each client?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
But they weren't.
Because I want my horseshoes back, damn it.
Oh, they were. I
Right.
think they were
I
sold.
enjoyed playing darts.
Right.
That was fun.
We actually had a yard, a hall,
Man,
a training kitchen, a training apartment, all those facilities at the old building.
you want to try to play
They
the
gave away in
piano?
a
We
heartbeat
had
for
one of those.
They
$400,000.
sold everything in that center, and I know they had to make a lot of money off that. There was a lot of stuff in that center.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Brand new stoves,
Right.
2 refrigerators, a box freezer.
And they were all accessible, and the clients were
The
told
kilns.
if they sold anything from it, they would get first crack at it, but they were never offered that.
The
The yard sale was
kilns
never
were covered.
publicized to the clients.
There
Yeah.
was three kilns.
3 kills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had a basketball hoop there. We played basketball.
Man, I don't remind me of the basketball.
And air hockey tips.
All those
Yeah, everything.
holiday decorations. We had
Right.
3.
And yoga mat.
You know what I miss? The days where we would have bingo and the red hatters would show up and
Yeah.
they'd have about 2 or 3 tables.
Right.
Sad
I
to
think
say, you can
we
always
could
hear
say
them
the
cussing when you hear
Mendoza.
Robert say bingo.
Right. And the happy travelers.
Yeah.
Now listen to these stories, folks. Those of you who are watching on the streams out there.
The good old days.
This is a community out here.
Halloween party, Christmas
Yeah.
party.
Community with memories.
Yeah.
Who's been thrown to the
I had
sidewalk.
my baby shower there. I know Ellen had her wedding reception there.
We had beatball.
I remember
We
that.
had beatball fundraiser dinners there, award
The
ceremony,
Halloween socials that people used to
Breakfast
go
social,
to.
everything.
Our
the-
fashion show.
and the
Fashion
Lions
show,
clubs and
uh,
Rotary and
All gone.
all the
all
different
gone.
organizations that could come in and provide
Yeah,
entertainment
music
or
and-
Even the
food.
groups that just got together just to go on a small little walk around the
Right.
neighborhood.
Just
I mean,
social
stuff like
networking
that.
and communication,
Uh,
mentoring, all that,
Man.
fellowship. There's no room or place or desire for that by the management here in this building. You can't even make noise because it's surrounded by other offices.
You're not
You
allowed
can't
to
have
smile
music, you
unless
can't
get
laugh.
approved.
yeah, you can't
You're
laugh.
lucky if you could breathe in the damn building.
Right. Right.
You can't now. Not now.
Wow.
If
Yeah,
you
that's
want-
why they have a muzzle on. I mean, a mask on you in there.
That's right. I know when I
It's symbolic for
You
keep
wanna-
your damn mouth shut.
you
Right.
want to breathe fresh, stand by a vent.
Yeah, there's no windows to open. It's, you need a hazmat suit to enter it now.
Right.
God only knows.
It's toxic, toxic.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's-
Earplugs and a hazmat suit.
It's so toxic that a gas mask could not help. And the thing is, folks,
The problem is none of them was at the center when we used to have a good time. They don't know what a good time was.
no.
Right.
Yeah,
They
They
don't-
got rid of anyone that had anything to do with the old center.
The
It
holidays were
actually
for
stood
the
for
families, the
something.
blind and their families, not just
Right.
the few blind clients that signed up.
Yeah.
If
If
they
you
didn't sign
include
up,
the
they couldn't
family,
come.
and the friends of the blind, then you actually have people that are invested in what goes on here. But everyone is walled off from this place.
Yeah, we are open to who we want to be open to, and that is it. And you have to schedule an appointment just for that to happen.
Okay.
I do want to say something.
Lisa, would you like this megaphone?
Yeah.
Give the little lady the megaphone.
Yeah, you're good.
They bully, hide, and lie. Defund
CCBVI. Bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide, and lie. Defund CCBVI.
Blind respect you
Never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell Harada, hit the road. I think Lisa had something she wanted to address.
Hear Lucas start singing "Hit the Road," Joe.
I heard
Yeah.
the doors open.
The other thing they were trying to make, because I was actually one of them, to deny to sign their client handbook because I said I wanted to take it home and read it to see what was going on in it. So there is, before you do come back here, there's a handbook they do want you to sign. So do not sign it, take it home and have someone read it, or if you have some way to read it through an email, I did want to share that on that information.
Roy, come talk to us, Roy.
Really?
Talk to
Why
us,
don't
Roy.
they listen to us instead of ignoring us? We wouldn't have to be out here.
Come talk to us.
Include
Help
the
us.
blind. Include us on your board of directors for
Yeah.
actual live.
This is one of the board members right here.
One of the board members there.
Why is he saying shame, shame, shame to us?
He's shaking our head. We have sighted people to let us know what's around us. He's taking off right now, everyone.
Tell us where that money went.
We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Well,
Here signing paychecks.
I just got him on camera.
Oh, you got him on camera.
I recorded him getting in his car and everything.
Here signing paychecks.
This is a public place. It's publicly.
Yes.
He's been present in meetings we've had since 2018. We tried to make our concerns clear to this board,
Yeah.
and they don't answer responsibly. When you put questions to them, you get silence. You get little bait and switch. You get a little false pretense that they're doing what you ask, but like saying we want blind representation. Look, we found a Lion member from Tracy that has one eye. Now you have a blind board member. We're not saying that man doesn't experience some challenges in life, but he doesn't use the technology like we do. He can drive. It was just, a bait and switch. Like you say, this is a gesture, a fake gesture toward what you're actually asking for. We want actual inclusion here.
Yes.
I have a good chant for us. Shame. Hold on. Let me turn this up. Turn that on there. All right. Shame, shame, shame. Turn around, live up to your name.
Shame, shame, shame.
Turn around, live up to your name. Shame, shame, shame. Turn around, live up to your name. Shame, shame, shame. Turn around, live up to your name. Shame, shame, shame. Turn around, live up to your name. Those of you watching the stream and you saw that car leave, that was one of the board members. And when he was walking into the office, he walked past us, evidently giving dirty looks, saying, shame, shame. The ones who need to be ashamed are inside those doors. The way you...
Board of directors.
Yes.
He's been on it as long as that board president, but I wasn't lumping him in with her until now.
Why didn't he stop? What has he got to hide?
Yeah.
Why didn't he
He
stop?
didn't ask us questions.
What do
Nope.
they all have to hide?
I called him by
Yeah.
name.
Maybe it was a confession,
Tells you right there, their board members do.
a guilty conscience.
So, all right, so last week you all saw the police calling on us. And today you saw one of the board members who could address this situation out here, give dirty looks, say shame, 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 and drive away. Hey, it's time for change.
Yes.
And knowing that we're blind, how come he could have used verbal words? We can't see that shaking.
Yes. Stepping back.
That's right. There needs to be change, and the shame.
Clients grow.
Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. Let the clients grow. Administration has to go. That's something that'll get you fired up right there.
Yeah.
Somebody who had the authority to try to talk or do something chose to say shame, shame toward American citizens
Yes.
who are blind or their supporters, who have been mistreated.
Enemy to them. They don't want to listen or include us. You know, who has peaceful blind people as enemies except this management,
Yes.
this board of
That's right.
directors?
Yes.
I'm welcome everywhere else that I am a part of this community. I'm on different boards and parts of different groups in this community.
Yes.
I'm never treated like this.
Never.
This is a board member.
This is the first time I've
ever
ever protested in my life.
Yeah.
That's right. Like I think that was you, Janet, right?
Huh?
That yeah. And just like Janet said, this is a board member for a blind center who doesn't want the blind around. That's because the community is out on the sidewalk. It's not inside of those walls. Inside of those walls are like an iron veil. And it's saddening. I heard him under his breath as he walked past going inside saying, shame, shame.
I didn't even know I was going inside. I thought it was one of the homeless people with mental challenges that's usually walking around here because he didn't sound any different.
What's sad about
That
this?
shows you what kind of board members are running the center.
Yeah.
So if anybody's watching this, you're wondering why we're protesting.
Yeah.
Number one, last week you saw the police called.
Yeah. How many times have we asked this board of directors to please identify themselves because we don't know who's speaking to us or to acknowledge us, to walk by and just speak to us without identifying himself? In a board meeting that we had with them on Zoom, there were new people there. I asked the board president, could she please have people introduce themselves before speaking? She said, you know my voice, Jennifer. I said, I might, but I don't know all these board members' voices,
Yeah.
and some of the people here visiting don't.
Yes.
And we shouldn't have to constantly defend common blind etiquette to these people
Yeah.
and get snarled at for asking for a little bit of common courtesy.
Yeah.
That's right.
What kind of board member says shame, shame to the clients it's supposed to serve?
I know.
That's right.
No,
Terrible.
you should be ashamed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What kind of board member?
He's the treasurer, maybe because he doesn't like the where did the money went.
Oh, that's very true. Very true.
Does the audit scare him?
Very true.
That's why
They
he's
search
there.
out their
They're
own
well
auditor.
aware of what we're speaking.
Yes.
So last week you saw the police called. For those of you watching these streams that are going out to Twitter, to YouTube, to Facebook, you saw last week that the police were called. The video that was uploaded, I put a link out there for your viewing. And today, you see a board member who has the authority to come out and talk. Say shame, shame.
To the clients.
To the
it's supposed
clients.
to serve.
Right away.
The clients who are still listed on their record
Yes.
in that 100 number that they say they serve.
Right.
And these clients are out here exercising their rights. And they're being told shame, shame instead of how can we help you to resolve this issue? They don't want to resolve it. They want us gone because we speak up.
And shut down and put
Tell their
down
secrets.
as usual.
They don't want everybody to know.
Jenny, is that Lisa, his wife?
I have Van Gogh coming at some
Hey, white card?
Yeah, white car, white Chevrolet.
my feet are asleep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll see you guys.
Bye, David. Love
Have
you.
a good one, David. It's good seeing you, friend.
Is it 11?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't think we could.
I don't even know what time it is. My watch dies this morning. Okay. Okay.
Call 209-200-8589. Stockton Blind Alliance on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Please reach out. We'll share our stories, and we love your support.
This is why the board's got to go.
That's right.
Hit the road.
We're standing up for the
Clients.
Stockton
Yeah, one last.
Alliance.
Raise it up.
Standing up to
Take
help
out that anger about the situation with the board member here. Let's raise it up. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. Raise it up. Help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients. Stockton Blind Alliance. We're standing up to help the clients.
Tell us where that money went.
We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president. Tell us where the money went. We want a new board president.
And apparently treasurer, since he's standing with her and saying shame, shame, shame to blind clients peacefully protesting in front of the building.
That are the reason for all of them getting their paychecks in the first
Blind respect you never
For show. Tell Hirata, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell Hirata, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell Hirata, hit the road. Blind respect you never show. Tell Hirata, hit the road.
They bully,
Hide and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide and lie. Defund CCBVI. They bully, hide and lie. Defund CCBVI. Bully, hide and lie. Defund CCBVI.
Thank you for your support, everybody. Let's make these changes. We're
That's
not
right.
going away.
Yes.
That's right. And again, we're not trying to sink the ship. We're trying to replace the captain.
That's right.
Too much poop on the poop deck.
Well, everybody who's watching out there, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to call Stockton Blind Alliance at 209-200-8589. You can email at StocktonBlindAlliance, all lowercase, at gmail.com, or you can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Stockton Blind Alliance. And for that, we will wrap it up. Thank you, Hun, for helping out with that.
No problem.
You too?
I'm gonna end it. I love you.
I know I got this loud beatball voice.
I love you too, beautiful, and I will. I'll give you a call as soon as I get home. Okay.
All right. Take care.
All right. I love you, Hun.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now, Hun.
I love you.